Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another interview. Today I'm here with Shane Watson. Shane, after being in the corner for victorious Lorraine Richards, how are we feeling?
Very happy, man. Excited. You know what? Lorraine's a very good friend of mine outside of boxing. So I just see him back in the boxing ring doing what he's incredibly talented at again. Makes me really excited. I'm really happy for him. He had a smile on his face all day. It's been a long time coming, him coming back, and it's been a shame we've lost a year and a half. But I'm a very positive person. At least we had him back in the ring, got a win. I've got some big fight news. Hopefully dropping in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, and I mean, we'll just keep on Lorraine Richards just for the moment. It's a very spiteful performance, and kind of possible news. Zach Parker's been linked around with him. I don't know if you can say much about that at the moment.
Listen, it's going to be a big fight for him, whether it is, whether it's going to be Zach Parker, whether it's going to be someone else. We have to wait and see. I don't want to cause any problems towards making that fight, or any other fight. So I don't want to say too much on it. And listen, there's still a lot to do, whoever he fights. But I believe that if you have a big fight in summer now.
Indeed, and I mean, another one of your fighters, we've got Joe Joyce, and I mean, of course, he's coming off that unfortunate defeat, but obviously got the eye and everything like that, but he wasn't looking bad in his fight. I think Zhang was looking his best ever Zhang, and do you think the rematch, I mean, that's seemingly being made now, do you think that's going to come out differently?
Oh, I hope so. It'd be a completely different outcome. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I'm not going to say what went wrong and undermine Zhang's performance and his win. He's a great guy, got a great team, lovely people, and he put on a great performance. And his game plan, whatever that was, obviously paid off. So fair play to him. But I'm so confident that Joe in the rematch will absolutely do a number on Zhang. I expect that to be over within 6 or 7 rounds.
Okay, and I mean, just for that fight, as Zhang is coming as the winner, he will probably be maybe the A side. I know he wanted a fight with Tyson Fury in China. Will that fight possibly be in China, the Joyce one?
If I'm being honest, it's not been spoken about, and we haven't had an offer made to us. I mean, if they did, it's something we'd look at. If it financially made sense for Joe and whatnot, then it would have to be something we'd have to look at. Joe's fought in China before. He's fought over the world. I don't think it'd be too much of an obstacle for him. But yeah, the money has to be ridiculous and crazy. But if it's not, then no. But it's genuinely not even been brought up in conversation, so I don't expect it to be.
Okay, and I mean, of course, with the heavyweights, lots of things going on at the moment. Just to touch upon the possible Tyson Fury summer fight, do you have any maybe opponents which you think he might face? It's Ruiz, possibly. Would you like to see that fight?
Not really. It'd be good to actually see him fighting a live pulse, wouldn't it? But no, I don't think that fight's going to happen. I think financially it costs too much money to bring Ruiz over for what it generates, and Tyson Fury demands a lot of money too. So maybe we'll get Tyson Fury Sefer 2.
Maybe, and so I suppose that would lead on to the Saudi tournament. Everybody's talking about that at the moment. It's such a huge thing, and so maybe starting with the AJ Wilder fight, that's seemingly more likely to be on the cards. And so if that was to go down, everybody's kind of maybe writing off AJ a little bit after his last performance. Is it good to write off AJ?
You can never write off a 2-time unified heavyweight world champion, Olympic gold medalist, world championship medalist. How can you ever write off someone that's got all those accolades? And it's ridiculous. Do I make Wilder a big favourite? I do, because one guy's ironing people out in 1 and 2 rounds, like fringe world level guys as well. Another guy's just not following through with his punches anymore, and it's kind of a shame to see AJ like this. But listen, at the end of the day, it's still a great fight. Anything can happen. They both punch hard enough to knock each other out. May the best man win. I'm just happy. Hopefully it gets put on, and I'd be very happy to watch 2 elite level fighters fighting each other.
Indeed, and just to speak about the other possible fight, which is probably a little bit more up in the air, and that is Fury Usyk. It's been going back and forth for ages now, and I mean, there speaks of big purses being thrown about in Saudi Arabia. And do you think that ever will actually happen, that fight?
Maybe, but it's not happening in December, I don't think. But maybe it'll happen one day, but I don't know. Fury's just got to be a bit more realistic with what he wants and what's available, and then maybe things can start happening. But how can you be a world heavyweight champion and you've got no one to fight? Because you've got to start asking yourself questions like, why am I always inactive? What are the problems in that? Maybe take a look at yourself and realise why you're inactive, you know?
Of course, and I suppose, am I right in saying that Johnny Fisher is one of the fighters that you associate with yourself?
Yeah. Johnny Fisher is out on June 10th.
Yep. And so just to speak about him, his opponent I believe hasn't been announced yet, but is there any kind of tougher test than what he's already experienced coming?
I mean, he opposed different qualities and different style, which is what it's about. Because where he didn't have the amateur career, he needs to come up against these different styles before he is in a big fight one day. So he definitely posed a different kind of threat and a different style. He's been there with some very good level opposition. He's beaten a former Golden Gloves winner and whatnot. So I think he might have stopped him as well. Actually, potentially, I might be wrong on that, but yeah. So it's a different kind of test, but I expect Johnny to fight for a title before the end of the year.
Okay, and so I mean, there's a lot of big domestic fights around at the moment. Of course, there's Fraser Clark, David Adelaide, Fabio Wardley. Obviously, he's not quite there yet, but possibly, like you said, by the end of the year, would that possible matchup with any of them be an option?
No, not by the end of the year. I mean, we'll be realistic. I think Johnny's still young, very, very young, very, very young, very raw in certain areas as well. But I believe he can beat all of those guys on his day. I really do, and I think Johnny's really underrated. But in the right fights, you'll see a bit more from him. But I think maybe in the next 18 months, you'd see him fighting those kind of guys. But I'd like him to get a little title before the end of the year, and then maybe go for the English, like middle of next year, and then maybe early the year after that we'll go for the British, or maybe late that year. It just depends who's the title holders, who's around, what fights can be made. Look, as we've seen, it's very hard to make British heavyweight title fights apparently. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, no, he'll be moved at the right pace.
And I mean, he's got such a big fan base with him all the time, everywhere he goes. And how important is it to have that big fan base and to be able to get on the shows? I know a lot of people building their way up, they're always talking about selling tickets, how important that is. And to have somebody like a Johnny Fisher, it must be amazing.
Well, it actually allows him to move at the pace that he's ready to move at. Because if you don't sell some tickets, the promoter will force you to step up to take harder fights that you may not necessarily be ready for. So it allows him to have that, it allows him to earn more money, and it allows him to create a great story. Like, you know, it's just what a nice way it is to box. You could travel around the world, thousands of the people you care and love about are there, and make an atmosphere, and everyone's talking about it. It's like a night out for everybody as well, so it's good. But yeah, no, it's really, really important to Johnny.
Indeed, and I mean, just on the previous answer, you touched about the kind of difficulties of the British title fight at the moment. And is there any kind of comments you can possibly say on your thoughts about the lack of a matchup between Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark?
Yeah, I don't want to kick people out of down. I know it's must be horrible for Fraser, must be horrible for Fabio, must be horrible for the teams. I don't know the ins and outs, so I can't really give too much of an opinion on it. I've heard rumours and stuff, but I don't want to. I've had people say stuff like that about me before that's not nice, so I'd rather not kick people out of down. I just hope that the fight gets made at some point, and if it doesn't, Sol Akers can fight one of them, so that'd be a nice little fight as well. So yeah, that's all. I hope they both get good dates soon. I know that Fraser's already got a date, but Fabio as well, and they can both push on and move on their careers.
Brilliant, mate. Well, thank you very much. Is there any kind of last comments you'd like to leave on?
Hope Rangers beat Celtic tomorrow in the Old Firm derby, as I've gone to every single one this season and we haven't won any, so hopefully they come in tomorrow.
Fingers crossed for you, mate. Thank you very much. Nice one.